Well, so basically, we covered this a little bit, right? And what we said was that once the OA withdrew the support on the Hedron hex pair, Hedron was set to fall against a rising hex, and we called that privately all the way back here, right? So we were here, the OA pulled support, and then Hedron's fallen, not so graciously down to a wick low of 50% off, 45% off from that level. Okay. And so the reason why that happened was essentially what the theory was that if the OA kept the hexahedron wall in there, large hex whales or sharks could have accumulated hedron, like billions or trillions of hedron inside of that wall without incurring so much slippage, and that would have been enough to support price up in these upper bands of this fib channel. But because that was pulled, it's actually been more beneficial to, if you're already a whale in hedron, to just continue to buy the HSIs off the auctions, and then and there are some screaming hot deals now because the price has fallen so low. So now it looks like it's actually starting to recover off this baseline of this bottom of this Fibonacci channel on the Hedron hex pair, and it's actually coming into support. You notice how against the USDC, Hedron's in an uptrend. Yeah, it's in an uptrend. Yep. And so this is a key test of support here, and there's potential there for that to, someone's going to come in and try to accumulate these lows against hex, but it would actually be support on an uptrend in the Hedron USDC pair. And then with ICOSA on the USDC, it's actually it's closed candles above the 382 on this fib retracement consecutively now for, I think these are 3-day candles, so 369. Those would be the 12th. But this will be 12 days of it being basically catching support on that level, and so there's nothing saying that it can't come up and test this 21 3-day moving average in yellow. And then again on this pair, it's kind of hard to see anything to me because it's technically still in free fall, but it is trying to catch support on the 618 off this wick low. So I don't know if you guys can see all that's pretty tiny little price actions there, and we're trying to capture as much market data as we can on these things just to have the whole perspective. But still, someone asked, how does Hedron and ICOSA make hex more valuable? And it's as simple as this. And if you took away everything else that you know about these systems, it's simply this: hex is getting locked up for 15 years. That's it. It's that simple. There's hex that's getting locked up for 15 years, and then people are coming in and they're selling it to a contract to get short-term money, to then go back in with cheaper Hedron to buy back their position, to sell it back to the contract, and they're arbitraging this down. But eventually the deal gets so sweet that some new actor can acquire enough of the Hedron supply to come in and start scooping up and taking those HSIs back into a new player's hands. Because the Hedron, if it gets too discounted, you're in a position there where it's just such a juicy deal relative to what you can, buy hex off market and stake it for 15 years that it just makes more sense to go get the HSIs. I think that one of the fatal flaws of this so far has been that it's been basically that the HSI auction system has favored the people that got 10x minting bonuses for free, right? Because then they can just come in and continually arb this stuff. And it's hard to compete with them for the HSIs too, because you really have to let the Hedron price fall drastically 90, 95, 98, 99% in order to compete with somebody who's minting 10x times more per day, right? And so it's a natural function of that you're getting these super discounted prices. But as the next 3 to 5 years plays out, and hex does make new highs and it starts to consolidate sideways, hex or Hedron and ICOSA will become the counter trade for short-term gains. If I've learned anything from this bear market, it's that hexagons, OGs, and alike are looking for short-term money and short-term returns. If hex gets flat for 9 months between 50 cents and 20 cents, or 80 cents and 50 cents, don't matter the price range. If it gets flat or starts to slowly sell off, people are going to look for returns somewhere else. And if Hedron's 99% off or 95% off, that's an obvious thing where you can come in with a little bit of gains and pump that price up and start a chain reaction of buying. And effectively, that's where everyone's going to be chasing those HSIs that are no longer at that good discount anymore, right?